Am I the asshole for bringing my own food to a wedding? So I, 36F, went to my college friend's wedding last weekend. I was really excited for it. She's a good friend, and I wanted to celebrate. The issue is I have a medical condition that means I can't eat certain common ingredients, gluten and dairy. It's not a fad diet or a preference. I get very sick if I eat them. I mentioned this on the RSVP card where it asked about dietary restrictions. The bride told me the venue couldn't guarantee anything gluten or dairy-free because of cross-contamination, but she hoped I'd make do with the salad and fruit. I didn't want to cause trouble, so I just quietly brought a small container of safe food in my bag, literally just grilled chicken and rice. When dinner was served, I discreetly went outside for 5 minutes, ate it quickly, then came back in to join everyone. I didn't make a scene, didn't bring smelly food, didn't take anything away from the event. Turns out the groom's mother saw me with the container outside and apparently told a bunch of people I was disrespecting the caterer and making the couple look cheap. At the reception, she confronted me and said I was embarrassing the family and that I should have just eaten beforehand if I had an issue. I explained that I wanted to be there for the full event and didn't want to faint or get sick. She rolled her eyes and said I was selfish and that the weddings is about the couple, not about your diet. Some of our mutual friends also agree that I made an asshole move and made the couple look bad. Now I'm wondering if I really crossed a line. I didn't want to draw attention, but maybe I should have handled it differently. So, am I the asshole for bringing my own food to a wedding? I have a medical condition. Not the asshole. You took care of your own needs. That's it. Is it somehow respectful to eat food that would physically harm you? LOL. No. The groom's mother is looking to make trouble where it doesn't exist. Ignore her. Not the asshole at all. The groom's mother definitely is. You went out of your way to not inconvenience the wedding party or caterer. No one would have known if the groom's mother hadn't made a big deal about it. Face with rolling eyes, face with rolling eyes. The reality is, the wedding was cheap as fuck if they couldn't get you a girlfriend or dairy-free meal, and that you were somehow expected to suffer in silence for an entire evening surviving on lettuce and fruit? You weren't drawing attention to this, they did. Not the asshole. The only drama is from the groom's mother. You have nothing to be ashamed of by celebrating your friend's special day and minimizing your absence. So in the celebration of her son's big day, this lady decided to duck out of the reception, which according to her is rude and disrespecting the bride and groom, or she was following you for some bizarre unhinged reason. The more she makes it an issue, the more unhinged she shall appear. Don't worry, and well played. Not the asshole. I think what you did was extremely courteous. You didn't expect anyone to cater or bend over backwards to accommodate you. You quietly took care of your own needs in private, so you could be there to celebrate your friend. Anyone that thinks otherwise is honestly ridiculous. The caterer is hired to be there. They are getting paid either way. They don't care if you eat their food or not. Such a silly thing to even suggest you were being disrespectful. The groom's mother sounds miserable and needs to get a life. I think you handled it really well. You didn't make a scene was made out of you. And that's not your fault. She didn't need to say anything to anyone, but she did. Your caterers couldn't guarantee my dietary restrictions, so I have my own. Stop making a scene and go back to your meal. Am I the asshole for telling my friend's fiancé to F off when he complained about them using my recipe? For context, I, FTM30, love to cook. I love finding recipes to try as well as just throwing things together and tweaking it until it's right. A lot of my friends actually have notebooks just for my recipes, as well as how they changed it to either fit their tastes, diet requirements, what they had on hand, etc. Basically, we just swap notes and pictures of finished meals back and forth as often as possible. Everyone says my specialty is pasta dishes, relevant to post. A little over a year ago, I met someone, NV29, who loved cooking and kitchen experiments as much as I do. We quickly became best friends, and most of our message logs are just food pics and the recipe used, or talking about what we got on sale at various markets. They sadly moved across the country to be with their fiancé a couple months later, so we try to call / FaceTime as often as possible. Their fiancé, M28, and I exchange messages once in a while as he also likes to cook. But it's clear we're simply polite and civil. No dislike of each other, but simply put, we're not friend material. A few days ago, my friend messaged me and asked, how can I get rid of a pack of bacon, half a box of pasta, various peppers, and several partial bags of pre-shredded cheese before they expire. I asked for specifics, brands, types, amounts of each thing, and whipped up a quick cheesy pasta pan-made dish. I then took notes for cooking times as well as which seasonings/amounts I used, and left it at that. As always, I added the disclaimer of course, do what you want with it. This is just the basic outcome of ingredients listed. Tonight, my friend FaceTimed me as they made the recipe and showed me what they added to it in addition to the basics, and the call lasted until they were about to sit down to eat. They were over the moon excited to show me, as I am the god of pasta, so my approval means a lot, however. The conversation got derailed when the fiancé loudly expressed his annoyance of eating cheese for the third time this week, and refused to eat even a single bite. My friend, clearly hurt, argued that 1, the cheese was going to expire so had to be used. 2, he knew what they were making and said it sounded good. 3, could have asked the cheese not be added to the main dish, and 4, could have cooked his own meal. The call cut off at that point. A couple hours later, my friend texted me to apologize for their fiancé's behavior and to tell me that they as well as their co-workers loved the meal. After the fight, my friend took the meal to a co-worker's house to get space. A few minutes after that, the fiancé called me and I answered, figuring he was going to apologize like any sane person would. Instead, he proceeded to chew me out and say how sick he was of eating cheese. I let him have his say for about 30 seconds and simply told him to F all the way off. He hung up, and that was that. My friend says I did the right thing. Your friend was right. Not the asshole, that guy has issues. As if you controlled his damn diet. Not the asshole. Damn. How hard is it for him to say, hey, do you mind making my portion without cheese? Even my small kids can verbalize this when we're cooking together. He was right there as she was making it, and already knew what all the ingredients were. He sounds like a winner. Good on you for telling him to fuck off. Awesome the way you and your friends share fave recipes. A few days ago, my friend messaged me and asked, how can I get rid of a pack of bacon, half a box of pasta, various peppers, and several partial bags of pre-shredded cheese before they expire? I asked for specifics, brands, types, amounts of each thing, and whipped up a quick cheesy pasta pan-made dish. I then took notes for cooking times as well as which seasonings/amounts I used, and left it at that. So you bought all the things they had and tested out a dish before their cheese expired? This is such a weird story, lol. You are the asshole. I want my time back. You can freeze pre-shredded cheese. AITA for such a ridiculous story. This doesn't even sound like a real story. Your friend already said you did the right thing, so why are you coming to Reddit for validation? If it is real, then yeah, not the asshole, and that guy has serious issues. If he doesn't like the food that someone else is cooking for him, he should cook for himself. He's ungrateful and lazy. Am I the asshole for drinking coffee in front of the kid? My girlfriend, 20, and I, 22 male, were taking care of our friend's little brother, 9, for the day, since she and their parents went out of town. We went to a cafe, and I asked what they wanted. My girlfriend said lemon tea, and the kid asked if he could have coffee. I said no. His parents once told me he always asks to try coffee, even though they always say no to the request. So he asked for chocolate cake instead. I got them the lemon tea and the chocolate cake, and iced coffee for myself. The kid didn't say anything, but my girlfriend later told me I shouldn't have something he isn't allowed to, right in front of him. Not the asshole. He's 9. He can understand that some things are for adults. Not the asshole. Did you drive to the cafe? Is the 9-year-old allowed to drive? You shouldn't be allowed to drive if he can't drive. See how ridiculous that is? Kid was probably trying to see if this new adult would let him cross the no coffee boundary, especially if he didn't pitch a fit, which he didn't, after you had the coffee in front of him. The kid can't drive either. Does girlfriend insist everybody travels by skateboard? Not the asshole. The kid is also not allowed to drink alcohol, so no one should drink a beer near this kid. Sorry, but your girlfriend is a little dumb. Not the asshole. Adults drink coffee, and even alcohol in front of kids all the time. My girlfriend later told me I shouldn't have anything he isn't allowed to, right in front of him. It's not like you ate a piece of pie in front of him and told him he couldn't have any just to be mean. Coffee isn't for young kids, especially if their parents have made it clear they don't want the kid drinking it. Not the asshole. Your girlfriend is wrong on this one. It would be rude to not offer anything to the kid, but certainly fine to have coffee while he has something else. Am I the asshole for not letting our neighbors use our driveway? My wife and I bought a house in April. The property sits on about a third of an acre, which is almost unheard of in our Los Angeles suburb, and one of the main things that drew us to it. 2,000 square feet of the property is a long driveway, since the house is set far back from the street. The driveway even has a fork with a planter and tree in the middle, so you can pull in, circle around, and drive back out. Our driveway is conjoined with our neighbors. To be clear, they can reach the street using only their own property. They don't need to touch ours at all. The problem is that their lot is small, and their driveway is really narrow where it meets the street. It is just wide enough for one car. It widens by their two-car garage, but because they park one car behind the other, whoever is blocked and usually cuts across our driveway instead of shuffling cars around. Apparently, from what we heard from other neighbors who have actually gotten to know us, is that the Hoys was vacant for a few years after some elderly parents passed, and the kids could not decide what to do with the lot. So clearly, our new neighbors got used to having an extra driveway to use. When we first moved in, I honestly didn't mind much, but my wife wasn't comfortable with it. We tried to be neighborly by mostly parking on the forked side, so they could continue using the shortcut. Sometimes my wife just parks straight in without thinking about it. When that happens, the neighbor has actually come over to our door asking us to move, saying we're blocking them in. One time, I even answered one of our camera doorbell and made him wait as I was in the restroom. In the time he waited, he could have moved the cars. We wanted to be good neighbors, but they don't seem to return the favor. They keep to themselves, don't say hi, and won't even wave back if you greet them. After a while, that rubbed us the wrong way, especially since they expect us to restrict how we use our own property for their convenience. The least they could have done is bake us some cookies when we moved in or something, right? The final straw came recently when my wife got some pretty nasty looks from the mom. That was enough for her. She now wants to park however she pleases, regardless of whether it inconveniences them. Personally, I could take it or leave it, but at this point, who am I to argue? Happy wife, happy life. Are we the assholes for parking in our own driveway in a way that forces our neighbors to finally figure out their own parking situation after a decade of cutting through ours? Edited to add more paragraph breaks. Not the asshole. Park however you please. It's your land. Just make sure are well on your own surveyed, titled lot. But if you want to ramp down the hostilities, politely just say, we are aware you are struggling to fit on your own block. But I wanted you to be aware, legally this section is ours, and surveyed as such when we bought the land. Ideally we can all get along here, and we need to be able to just park sometimes. I know it's a squeeze, but this is why we bought this land, so we could be able to use it as we pleased. If they want to get nasty, the alternative is good fences make great neighbors. Do they want to fence down that line? You need a real estate lawyer, and you need them yesterday. California has something called a prescriptive easement. If they have been using the property for 5 years in a way that was open, notorious, continuous, and hostile without the property owner's permission, they can claim a legal right to continue using the property. Obviously, everyone in the neighborhood has agreed that they were in fact using that driveway for quite a while. You need to figure out your legal protections before moving forward. Not the asshole at all. They're not even being civil about anything, let alone grateful or gracious. Sorry, but you bought and are paying for the use of your whole property, and it's not a public right-of-way. If you're feeling petty, buy a crappy used car and leave it parked in their way permanently. Oh dear, sorry, it's my new project, and I plan to work on it sometime. Not the asshole. The moment they rung the doorbell to get your car moved was the moment where I would have put my foot down. No more use of the driveway for this entitled people. Park your car, build a fence, or place big rocks. But no more use of your driveway for them. Not the asshole. If it's your property, you don't have to let anyone use it. Couple things though. Make sure you know if there is an easement that they are allowed to use. If not, are you sure they know that? Do they know it's your property and you are letting them use it out of graciousness? It's possible they think they are legally entitled to the egress somehow. Since they are not really neighborly, it might be hard to talk to them, but you may want to try. They are your neighbors and life gets really stressful when you are at war with your neighbors. Maybe a 6-pack peace offering? If that's not possible, look into what options you may have regarding fences. Fences make great neighbors. Find out if they have an easement by looking at your deed. If not, take legal action for their trespassing. I would speak with the attorney you used for closing. Not the asshole.